What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Kings of CONCACAF podcast. I'm your host, Nate, and today we're going to be talking about the November camp. We're going to do a little recap of kind of everything that went on in the November camp, the good, the bad, and the mediocre. So what we're going to do is kind of talk about the Mexico game and then the Jamaica game, and then kind of highlight some of the things, both good and bad, about the camp as a whole. So obviously, the Mexico game, there was only basically positives that we can take away from that. You win 2-0 against the top team in CONCACAF. You play exceptionally well. You don't really make too many mistakes. There was a couple instances in the first half of that game where we got caught out, but didn't end up mattering. The game was won. Zach Steffen came up big, made great saves. So there's not really much to complain about in reality. Let's see. Mexico game. Pulisic. I mean, we absolutely dominated the second half. It was fantastic work by the boys. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's just about only positives to take from that game. But at the same time, when you do play that well, and then the following game, you only get 1 point against Jamaica. I get it was in Jamaica, and I get that. It's not a impossible game to lose / get 1 point. But the fact that we basically lost an opportunity to go 2 points clear of Canada, I should say, in the octagonal, and now we're 1 point behind them. So that being said, we need to kind of think about what is going on with this team and what needs to be fixed. In that Jamaica game, obviously the Mikel Antonio goal was something that was, I don't know if I can necessarily say unavoidable, because Tyler Adams could have closed in a little bit better. Couldn't have given him that space, but I think Mikel Antonio had tweeted something about how he hasn't scored from outside the box in, I want to say it was 7 years. And of course, it's against the United States. But I mean, we definitely did not play well against Jamaica, but I wouldn't say it's the worst game that we've played so far in the qualifying. Easily has been Panama. So for me, I thought the camp was pretty good. Was it great? No. If we had won both games and picked up 6 points, then this would have been a perfect camp. We still haven't had a perfect camp yet. First camp, 5 points. Second camp was 7 points, and this camp was 4. But this camp was only 2 games, obviously, so we couldn't have gotten that full 9 points. But if we'd gotten 6 points, we would be in a very good spot. I mean, not to be overly dramatic, because we are in a pretty good spot. We are in second place, so it's not like we're doomed, but we should have beaten Jamaica. And honestly, we're lucky to even have gotten a point against Jamaica. Jamaica played way better than us. So we kind of just have to wait and see what happens with the January camp, because we do play Canada. Excuse me. We do play Canada away. And that will be a struggle of a game. They're in ridiculous form. They still haven't lost. I would love to go into Canada and get a win. If we beat Canada, obviously I don't want to say no game's a challenge, because they are. Every game's going to be a challenge that we play, because it is CONCACAF and there's no easy team to beat, because I think it was Honduras. We beat 4-1, but for most of that game, we weren't playing well. We went down early. So there's no easy game in CONCACAF. I think all of us know that that's true. But I will say we have 2 difficult games left. Canada away and Mexico away. And that's for the qualifying schedule that's left. So if we can beat Canada away, then that puts us back ahead of them. Because I think it'd be only by 1 point, but that still puts us back into first place. So if we win that first game, then we're in good shape. So here's the thing. Oh man, sorry, I keep yawning. I didn't even feel like that. I'm like that tired, but I guess that was not the case. So yeah, just kind of recap of both games really quick, just before I move on to broader type things. Mexico game was fantastic. 3 crucial points. And then Jamaica game was ugly, awful, terrible, the worst thing ever, basically. Obviously not the worst thing ever, because if we had lost, then I think we would be tied with Mexico for, I mean, I don't know how it would have worked out, but we would have been tied on points. Yeah, see, I should know this. I'll look it up because I should know this. Octagonal CONCACAF. All right, so Canada's obviously first. So Canada 16 points. Oh, we have 15. Okay, so it's they're only 1 point up. Okay, so that's a little bit better than 2. Obviously, it's not that big of a deal, but if we were to beat them, then we'd be up 2 points. All right, so Mexico 14, Panama 14. So that's interesting. So Panama plays Costa Rica, which that's not an easy game. So in January they play Costa Rica, Jamaica, and Mexico. So if they win versus Costa Rica and Panama, then that February 2nd game could potentially be the deciding factor. Oh man, this podcast is all over the map. I'm yawning, I'm coughing, but I appreciate anyone that's still listening, because this is my also my first video podcast, so I'm hoping you guys like it. Yeah, so Panama, that game against Mexico February 2nd could be the deciding factor on who ends up in 4th place. Do I ultimately think Panama will end up in 3rd? No. But it's interesting. Mexico's not in good form. They got embarrassed by Canada. I wouldn't necessarily say they got embarrassed by us. They lost to us, but I think they got embarrassed by Canada. I know, like, obviously, like, if you look at the stats, like, we won 2-0 against Mexico, and then Canada won 2-1, I think it was. But honestly, that game could have been 3-4, 5-0. Like, if Canada got a late goal, Mexico got a late goal. Canada had so many chances if any of you guys were able to watch that game. So yeah, who knows? We'll see what happens. Just looking at the table the games for Canada, just kind of seeing who they play next, because I'm not exactly sure. Honduras, USA, right? Honduras away from home. So I wouldn't be. So their next window is 2 games away, 1 game at home. So that could be good for us, because as we know, I know lots of people don't like when people say this, but I will say it is much harder to get results away from home in CONCACAF. I know that the United States and Mexico and maybe now teams like Canada, that shouldn't even be the case. They should be able to get at least win. They should be able to get wins away from home. But I will say, El Salvador and Honduras are both away for Canada. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe we'll get fortunate and Canada draws both of those games away. And if we're able to draw Canada at home, that puts them at 3 points for the window, and that puts us in a fantastic spot. Do I think they'll draw all 3 matches? No. My guess is they'll most likely beat. But the thing is, like, El Salvador and Honduras are the 2 worst teams in the qualifying. So, what I'm hoping to happen would be they beat Honduras. Maybe we draw to Canada and they draw to El Salvador. Let's just hope that that's best. That's like a semi-possible scenario for Canada's window. Realistically, they'll probably beat El Salvador and Honduras, and then probably draw to us. Maybe we'll beat them. Maybe they'll beat us. I think it'll be a kind of a toss-up of a game because they've played extremely well at home. They embarrassed Mexico at home. So yeah. So we're just gonna go over some players who were good. I thought were good during this camp. Obviously, Tim Weah was the story of the camp. He played so well both games. And I think it's hard to say what's going to happen when Gio and Christian are fully fit, because our 3 best players in the past 3 months are probably Brendan Aronson, Ricardo Pepi, and Yunus Musa. But now Tim Weah might be in that conversation for the best players that we've had, because he now had an exceptional camp. I will say also Tyler Adams as well. But Tyler Adams is a person that his spot's a lock. Like, no one's going to start over him. Where the other 3, I don't know if they're necessarily a lock anymore. Brendan Aronson had an exceptional September camp and a pretty good October camp. Didn't do too much in November and in the end of October camp. I love Brendan Aronson, but speaking on recent form in the past probably 3 games that they've had, I don't think his spot is locked to start anymore. I think at one point it was a lock starter spot, but I don't know anymore if that's the case. Then Ricardo Pepi. So obviously he had those crazy 2 games where he scored 3 goals in 2 games and had 2 assists or whatever the crazy stat was. But since then he's been out of form, hasn't really been able to score. So is he someone that may fall out of the lineup? I don't know. It depends on who Greg brings in. If he brings in a Hoppy, maybe if Hoppy finds his form in the next month and a half, 2 months. I guess it's 2 months until we play again. Maybe DK, maybe Sargent. So we shall see. But yeah, I'm curious to know if Gio is gonna play as a 10 on the wing. I don't know. So I'm very curious to know how this next camp goes. I'm very excited to see, kind of what happens with this camp. Who's good, who's great, who's okay, who's bad. Maybe we'll see Leggett fall out of the lineup. Maybe we'll see Roldan fall out of the lineup. Areola, because I don't know. Areola came in I think both games Areola came in just as a sub. So I don't think Ariel is quite off the roster yet. Maybe Roldan's off the roster. He's not going to be playing because MLS doesn't play again until February, late February. So maybe Roldan will fall out of the lineup. Leggett will fall out of or not necessarily the lineup, but the roster. Maybe we won't see that many MLS guys in February in the January camp. Which, obviously, I'm not necessarily a Euro snob per se. I'm a good player snob. So I think just usually a Europe-based player is better than an MLS-based player. That doesn't necessarily make me a Euro snob. That makes me someone that likes better players. So if you're a better player and you play in the MLS, sure, play. That's why I think Miles Robinson, he's a fantastic player. He plays for Atlanta United. So, and Ricardo Pepi and Matt Turner and these guys that play in the MLS, they're fantastic, and I think they deserve a spot in the roster. But some of these guys, I don't necessarily think they deserve a spot in the roster, and they're not going to be playing. So I'm hoping maybe we can get other guys in like Conrad and Hoppy and maybe a Johnny Cardoso or maybe a Christian Kappas or whatever. Some of these guys that it's been talked that, they're kind of on the outside. They're like a reach to make it into the camp. But maybe with the MLS players not playing in the end of January, no games, no nothing, maybe we'll see maybe we'll see more European based / South American, wherever based players play. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you next time.